Hi, I'm Chris Martinson of Peak Prosperity. It's Friday, February 6th, and boy, we have a lot to go over in this weekly update. Well, I'm a little hot and sweaty because I just came back from cross-country skiing with the dog, and we're getting more snow, a lot more snow. This is a year of tremendous snow here in New England. Last year we had the polar vortex, so it kind of feels like we're back in the kinds of winters that my grandparents used to tell me about. And that reminds me of the importance of preparation, of course, to be prepared before a snowstorm comes, all the difference in the world. I called Home Depot right before the snowpocalypse that didn't actually happen last week. I called just to find out if they had any generators, and they were all sold out 36 hours in advance of the storm coming. I called Lowe's, I called all around just to find out. And indeed, those simple items were completely stripped bare because of one snowstorm, which thankfully didn't amount to much, didn't knock our power out. But I just wanted to find out what's the depth of the resilience products in our area if it really push came to shove. So this week, the theme of 2015 has been this return of volatility to the markets, and boy, do we have it. And a lot of it's out of sight. Now, what's happening in Greece is really, really important. Not because Greece is a overly large GDP component of Europe, but because of what it represents. Now, I've just written a two-parter, for anybody who just wants to come by and look. The whole front part of that article has a lot of information for somebody who wants to know what's going on in Greece right now. Plenty of information there. For our subscribers, there's a second part for those who know that information is the new money, understand that knowledge is power in this day and age. Both those terms come to me from Robert Kiyosaki, a good friend who's really just really been knocking the cover off the ball in terms of helping me to understand and start to begin to frame things in terms of what's really coming. You know what his magic is? He just tells it like it is, no beating around the bush. So on the one hand, we know that you have to understand where you are, how we got here to know where we're going. Greece has a very important message to tell. So the title of my article is about how Greece is really pointing out a fatal flaw. Now Greece, the current Greek leadership, the Syriza party, has done something you're really not supposed to do. They've told the truth. They told the truth, and they said it very simply. Yanis, the new finance minister, said, "We're bankrupt." That's what he said about his country. Of course, that same thing is true. If you just run the numbers, that's true for Italy, it's true for Spain, it's true for Ireland, it's true for Portugal, it's also true for the UK, it's true for France. It's true for a lot of countries, Japan, the United States. When you just look at the overall liabilities that these countries are running, plus the new debts they've layered on, thank you central banks, and in response to the crisis, all with this one idea in mind, that we're going to get back to rapid growth. And if we have that rapid growth, then all of this new debt will magically pay for itself. But if that growth doesn't come back, it's over. It's all done. And that's what Greece is exposed here. And it's really a fatal flaw, not because Greece is very large, but because of the precedent it would set. Truth-telling is a dangerous thing in times like these, and that's what Greece has done. And boy, the EU bureaucrats are beside themselves. They are absolutely inflamed with anger that somebody would dare to say what's true rather than to beat around the bush and use delicate language, maybe hide stuff or lie if it's necessary. Of course, that's a direct quote from one EU official talking about what you do when times get tough. Sometimes, if it's necessary, you just flat out lie. Well, Greece has broken that model. It's a really fascinating story. And here's the interesting part. I invite you, see if you can read any article or find any article to read about Greece in a mainstream publication or on a mainstream news outlet that compares and contrasts what Iceland did with what Greece needs to do. Iceland, kind of different situations, but somewhat similar. Small nations have an immense amount of debts that can't be paid back. One was accumulated by a banking system directly, the other by the country, so slight difference there, or a big difference. But in Iceland's case, they put the vote to the people. The people voted and said, we are not going to be on the hook for those. The banking industry absolutely did everything in their power to convince the people of Iceland that the sun wouldn't rise, the fish would all die, and the volcanoes would explode if they didn't pay those debts back. Huge amounts of pressure, and they didn't pay those debts, and nothing actually happened. They got to get on with their lives in a relatively short order. Greece is going through a major depression, capital D depression, right? 30% overall unemployment rate, 60% in youth unemployment. It's absolutely devastating. Oh wait, 20% overall unemployment rate, 60% for youth. And it's just, that's devastating. And they've been there for years, and they're going to be there for decades if they have to undergo the plans that the EU would like them to go under. And they'll lose all of their national assets, all of their sovereignty, whatever resources they've got, all to be able to give some interest payments back to a banking system that just makes this stuff out of thin air. That's the story we're at right now. And so on one level, the first level that Greece exposed was just the idea that a bankrupt country might just point that out. And by the way, there are a lot of insolvent countries heading towards bankruptcy out there. But the deeper level is that you can't have a banking system that continuously makes new claims on real wealth out of thin air, and that these expand exponentially forever, and it's all going to work out. It can't. So that's where we are today. Come by Peak Prosperity, check out what we've got going on there. Great new two-parter, a lot of other really excellent information, a great interview with Nomi Prinz. We've got another one coming up with Arthur Berman on shale oil. We're just having some great content. So come on by. Hope to see you there.